Hello, and welcome to a new series that I am starting on a new player guide for World of Warships. This should be relevant for the rest of 2025 and probably 2026. This is episode 0. We're just going to be kind of covering the port. Starting out, my port probably looks quite a bit different than yours because I've been playing the game for a little bit. When you first start out, you don't have access to a lot of these things that you see on the screen, but we'll get into that a little later in the video on how you unlock those things. But kind of the general premise is you just play battles, and the more battles that you play, you kind of level up through some new player levels. Top left of the screen there, we have the menu. This is where you can leave the game. This is where the settings are. This is just some general settings on the left side of the screen. You can also click on graphical settings. There are some preset graphical options. Typically when I'm streaming or recording a video, I run on high, but you'll just kind of have to play around with it and figure out how it works best for your computer that you're running on. If you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, you can kind of scroll down and you can select specific different qualities for how to upgrade different aspects of the game and graphics, but have to be a little bit more advanced for that. So moving on here in a second to audio, there's nothing really special there, just some different audio functions. Moving on to the HUD, which is very, very important. What you want to do is go to this interface and view, and by default, it's not set to full, it's actually set to simple. You want to change that to full, and then you at least want to make sure that you have the additional damage counters checked and the battle chat checked. By changing this HUD to full instead of simple, once we get into like actually having battles and stuff, it will give you some very important information on like shell flight times, distances to things, etc. It shows you player names and warship information. And having the battle chat active is very important for kind of just communicating with your team or watching people rage at each other in the chat. So definitely recommend that. These other options, I don't really play with a whole lot on the bottom of the screen, so I can't really speak to them. The additional damage counters that I do have checked, it just tells you some different information, like how much potential damage you've taken, how much damage to aircraft you've dealt out, some useful information like that. The next tab over on the left side of the screen is the camera. There's nothing too special about this. The default settings are pretty good. You can mess around with your mouse settings if it's too sensitive. Controls is very useful. I think there's a little tutorial at the start of the game for all new players that will kind of walk you through some of the controls and stuff like that. But if you happen to be watching like a YouTube video of myself or another YouTuber and you see us do something that you are wondering, well, how the heck did you guys do that? Go ahead and click to your settings here, and there's a few different tabs depending on kind of what type of control it is, and you can kind of figure out how we did that, such as like toggling on and off the anti-air or etc. Going back, this next icon right next to the settings, this is kind of your patch or your like player icon. By default, you'll have one of these top 5 options here. The more that you play the game, you kind of unlock some different options. These are ones that you can use to kind of make custom patches on your own. You can see there's different shapes and backgrounds and trims and textures and whatnot. There's also like fully pre-built out patches like the one that you see for me, the keel breaker patch. That's like a total preset, pre-made one. And you kind of earn those just by playing the game or playing different events. Here's some examples of other ones that I've unlocked just by playing the game for a few years. And then these emblems on the far right, you can use them as like a player icon or patch, but these are more like task driven, so there's specific task for each one. I wouldn't focus too much on these unless there's one that you're really, really interested in, but for the most part, you'll just kind of unlock them naturally as you play the game farther, but you do kind of have to get up to a higher tier to be able to complete many of these. So as you can see, I've been playing for a few years and I don't have a whole lot, but moving on, this next icon to the right of that is a ranked icon. It denotes kind of what rank you are for playing the competitive ranked mode, so don't worry too much about that for now. We'll talk about ranked in a unique video on its own. Next to that, you can see your player name and your premium account amount of time. By default, I think that you do get like 30 days of free premium time. If you click on to that, it will bring this drop down, and if we start at the bottom at daily rewards, go ahead and click on to that. This is typically the screen that's supposed to come up when you start the game. If for some reason it's not, go ahead and come here and look at the bottom right of the screen where it says Open Daily Rewards window on login. You want to make sure that's checked because you will get some rewards every day that you just log into the game. And especially if you log in for like 2/3 of the month, you get some pretty good rewards. So next, Captain Logbook is just, we're going to skip it for now. It just kind of tracks your progress through the game. It's not super important. Inventory we'll briefly click onto though. Most of this is not going to be relevant for you. There's like a whole bunch of different modules and stuff like that. Those modules, you don't need to worry about early game or the upgrades. What I do want to kind of point out though, we'll start out with the signals. Those signals there are kind of ways that you can upgrade how you play your ship. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about any of these for now. These signals get used up after every battle that you have them attached on a ship, and it's kind of difficult to earn enough to keep up with your usage if you're using them all the time. So for now, I would just not worry about these. Flags are, you can put them on your ship. They're 100% cosmetic. But now, moving on to the camouflages, this is what I wanted to point out on this tab. The camouflages, all of the permanent camouflages that you earn slowly through playing the game, through different events and stuff, you cannot sell those. However, any of the expendable or temporary camouflages that you earn, those, if you attach them to a ship, are used up after every single battle. So really, they're kind of not super worth using, but you can sell them for a decent amount of credits. So I 100% recommend that any of these expendable camouflages that you get, that you come to this screen and sell them. Even experienced players, some of them don't know that you can do this. And they've got millions and millions and millions worth of camouflages that they can sell. Millions of credits worth of camouflages that they can sell built up on this screen. So I do recommend that you just kind of come here and sell them as soon as you start collecting a few. Moving on from there, the recruiting station, we'll briefly click onto this. As a new player, if you haven't been playing the game for a certain amount of time or a certain amount of battles, you have the option to do like a new player invite code. If you have any friends that play the game, I 100% recommend that you contact them and you have them send an invitation to you, or you scan their QR code like mine here. It will get both of you some good rewards. I think it typically will give a free little premium ship and a few other really good starting out rewards, and your friend earns some rewards the more that you play the game. If you don't have a friend that that plays the game, you can go ahead and scan my QR code here, and it will at least get you the free premium ship. You have to log in with your World of Warships account online, or your Wargaming account, and then it will kind of walk you through the new player invitation series. But that's very important to do early game, because that will get you a free ship, get you some other goodies, and then it earns both you and the person that invited you some good little treats. So that's something that I recommend all new players do pretty as early on as you can, honestly, because that will it does expire after a while. Moving on, we're going to skip this purchase premium for now. It's easier to look at through the Armory. And then this top section here actually takes you to the area on the right side of the screen that's highlighted now, the profile. You can click on either of those and it takes you to the same place. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit, but I think that we'll finish talking about the top of the screen first. The next thing over is the port selection. There's a wide variety of ports that you can pick. You will not quite have all of the ones that I do, because some of these ports you have to own a ship from like a certain event to have access to it, like the Star Trek port and the Azure Lane port. But most of these ports you should have access to just for free. So you can pick whichever one suits you best. It really doesn't matter. They're all cosmetic. This divisions thing, we'll kind of very briefly gloss over, but if you want to play multiplayer with a friend of yours or someone that you're in a clan with, you're going to have to make a division with them. So up here is like a good way that you can kind of manage that and invite people to a division. You can typically make divisions of like up to 3 people, and then you can join battles together and be on the same team and kind of work together, which is a very good way to play. This middle button is the battle button at the top of the screen. We won't talk about that too much, but that's what you click on when you want to start a battle. Moving on to the next one, if you click onto this, it shows you the different battle types. As a new player, by default, you only have co-op battles unlocked, and as you level up, you unlock random battles and operations and ranked. And those 4 types are the 4 mostly permanent types. Ranked does kind of come and go just a little bit, but it's pretty much always active. But those are kind of the 4 permanent game modes that the game offers. Operations is kind of like PvE, where you're working through these different missions or whatever. Random is PvP, co-op is PvE against bots, and then ranked is kind of competitive PvP. Anything else, such as this World War II operations, is a temporary event that will just kind of come and go. Some other common temporary events that you'll see that do return once in a while are brawls and asymmetric battles. Moving on, these yellow or gold doubloons, these are like the premium credits of this game. These are what you can use to purchase premium time. You can purchase premium ships with them. You can really do anything or speed up any aspect of the game using these doubloons. I recommend that you save as many of them as you can early game, and we'll kind of talk about good uses for them at a future date. These credits are kind of, especially mid and late game, what prevent you from progressing in the game. They're how you purchase new ships. They're how you upgrade your ships. You can earn them pretty quickly through battles when you're strategic about using boosters and stuff like that, but even still, you just need them for so many aspects of the game that this is really what kind of slows your progression mid and late game. Early game, they give you quite a few to start with, though, so enjoy it while it lasts. This free XP on the right, this is experience points that you can use for anything that you can use experience for. So you can upgrade ships with them, you can purchase modules for ships, you can upgrade captains. For now, I recommend that you save all of these free XP. If you collect enough of them in a roundabout way later down the road, you can actually like straight up purchase ships for them. Again, in like a roundabout way, but we'll get into that some other time. Or if you're researching a certain ship and there's like a very not fun to play ship in the line, like right in the middle, you can use this to basically skip over that ship. So for now, just save up all of your free XP that you can and avoid spending it if possible. Moving over to the left side of the screen, well, I don't know. We might talk about something else for a second. But so anyways, that's kind of the top half of the screen there. Moving over to the next section, we'll talk about this profile here that we glossed on briefly. Normally it opens up to access levels right here. So as a new player, this is what I was talking about. You have to kind of level up, and you do this just by playing matches. I don't even think that you have to win. But the more matches that you play, you slowly unlock more aspects of the game until you reach level 17. So if your screen looks very different than mine and you're missing a lot of the things that I have, that is why. Don't worry about it. Just kind of keep the things that I'm talking about in the back of your mind. If you just play the game and kind of, complete more battles, you'll slowly start to unlock all of the features of the game. So you'll, go from co-op only to randoms to being able to purchase and research ships to unlocking camouflages for ships and other things like that. You'll unlock like signal flags, unlocked free XP even. So yeah, and I think that it even gives you some like little rewards throughout the middle of this too. So it's a good way to get some like free credits for stuff early game, or free different boosters and stuff like that. But that's kind of the general gist that you'll have to work through as a new player. We'll talk about the Armory later down the road. Kind of moving on, though, this achievement screen next isn't too important. This just tracks the different game achievements that you can earn during battles and how many times you've earned them and when you last earned them and such. So something fun to kind of scroll through after you've been playing for a little bit and racked up a few of these achievements. Ranked, like I mentioned, as a new player, you really shouldn't be playing ranked because it's like the competitive game mode. You probably don't even have a good ship for it. So I will release a dedicated video to ranked in the future. For now, just ignore it. These collections, though, there's a lot of events in the game where they'll have these collections. Some of them, they just, slowly throughout the event give you all of the items that you need to complete the collection. Others, they'll give you like crates where you get random drops, or maybe you have to purchase the crates. And these collections are used to unlock certain things in the game. So as you can see, there's like 4 different tabs here for this collection, and there's 4 different things on each tab that you need. I only have one of the 16 items that you can see. If you complete all of the things on one tab or get all 4 of them, then you'll unlock that prize on the bottom right, which for this is 1 day of premium time. If you unlock all 16, then you'll get this larger prize that you see here for the specific collection. Something important to note, though, is that there's the duplicates section there. For this collection, if you get 4 duplicates, you get 1 collection token. That collection token you can use to select any item of the collection that you don't have yet, and you can automatically unlock it. I don't recommend that you use these, though, until you're close to finishing the collection, because otherwise you might risk unlocking something that you'll just then get more duplicates for in the future. So for example, let's say that I've got 13 of the 16 items from this collection, and I've gotten 12 duplicates, so that gave me 3 of the collection tokens. Then I could use those 3 collection tokens to buy the remaining 3 items of the collection that I don't have and to finish it. That would be a good use of the tokens. However, let's say that I only had 2 collection tokens and I needed 3 to finish the collection. It would not be worth it then because if I use those 2 up, then it would be very hard to get a random drop for that last one that I was missing. And I might have to end up opening more containers than I would have needed to. So that's kind of how that works. Some of these collections take like a significant number of items in them. Some of them have like 60 different elements that you have to unlock. So you'll end up, having maybe 32 different elements that you got naturally. And then you got so many duplicates that you've got a whole bunch of collection tokens. And, eventually once you get enough collection tokens, you'll have to finish it out. This next tab here is the summary. I don't want you to focus too much on this. This is just kind of a cool tab to kind of track your progress in the game and kind of your stats and stuff like that. Especially as a casual player, this is not something that you should read too much into. When I release my ranked video, we'll talk more about how you can actually utilize these to become better at the game. But especially as a new player, you just want to focus on getting experience and getting exposure, and don't worry too much about the stats. Don't worry about maximizing them. That can come with experience, or you can, play ranked if you really want to invest time in that. But anyways, yeah, some people, you'll see them in the chat trying to call out or stat shame people. Just ignore them. That's like the worst type of people, especially in randoms, to deal with. You shouldn't worry too much about your stats if you're playing randoms. It's more about having fun. So ranked is a whole different deal, but like I said, we'll talk about that a separate time. This top left area of the screen that I'm highlighting right now is for temporary events. So if you watch this a couple months down the road, this event will probably not be here, but maybe a new one will be. So don't worry too much about that. If we go to the top of I'm just highlighting that World War II operations is linked to that temporary event. But anyways, the thing under that is the Armory. We will come to that last because that's a whole different bag of worms. But the Armory is where you can purchase basically everything in this game. It's where you purchase premium ships, upgrades for ships. It's where they have different events going on. This event pass here underneath it, if you click on it, it's kind of like a battle pass in other games. This top row here is the free battle pass or event pass, you get this absolutely for free. It has some pretty good goodies. Really, you don't have to work too hard to unlock this either. You just like play a few matches a day, and just for earning experience, yeah, you just finish it. Really, even if you only play like 2-3 matches a day, it's typically enough to finish this during the time. You get roughly a month to do this. The bottom row is the premium pass that has some really good goodies. I definitely recommend, especially as a new player, that if you want to spend money on the game, other than purchasing premium time, which we'll get into later, this is the next best use of your money. It costs typically like $10 per event pass that lasts a month, and for that you almost always end up getting like a tier 6 or 7 ship, which normally they sell for like $20 to $35 anyways, so already you're getting a discount on that ship, a decent discount too. But in addition to that, you get all kinds of other goodies, like lots of credit modifiers, you get some cosmetics for your ship like camouflages, you get like coal and steel, which are used to purchase different types of premium ships. We'll get into that once we go to the Armory. You get sometimes these like premium containers that have a small chance of dropping like super duper rare and really good ships. So other than buying premium time, this is the second best use of your money in this game. It just gets you so much stuff each month. It is 100% worth it for the $10 a month that it costs, in my opinion. Moving on from there is the Dockyard. This is a form of event pass, kind of, but it's like a temporary one that comes back like 2 to 3 times throughout the year. So we'll just take a brief look at this. You can actually do most of the Dockyard, like 18 of the 20 phases, for free, typically. And those get you all kinds of really, really good things, including sometimes like mid-tier premium ship, totally for free. Lots of coal, lots of steel, lots of sometimes unique, what do you call them? Unique visuals for your ship, like camouflages and stuff, all kinds of credit modifiers. And if you purchase the remaining 2 phases for doubloons or money, then it gives you typically a very high tier premium ship. Some of them are really, really good, and some of them are really, really bad. But either way, they end up being way, way discounted compared to what they normally charge. And these dockyards typically cost like $10 to $20 to buy those remaining 2 phases. So as a new player, I would not worry about these too much, because the missions for them, especially as a new player, are extremely difficult to do. You kind of need like a wide variety of ships. You need at least 3 different ship types to finish. So like a battleship, a cruiser, and a destroyer. And they all have to be at least tier 5 or higher to complete the missions. And even then, without like a good selection of ships, having any tier 5 version of those ships is going to be still very difficult to complete it. So really, I would not worry about this until you're a little bit more of a veteran player and have a lot of ships in your port. But moving on to the combat missions below that, this is where all kinds of different events are and the missions for them. This top section is common that it opens up to. This is where like some temporary events will be shown, or sometimes they have events where it's like all of the players in the community, if you sink 20 million ships in the next week, then everyone that participated earns this prize or something like that. That's where those would show up. Currently, none of those events are available. This one that I've got here is actually a personal event since I purchased this premium ship. Sometimes they give you like a 30-day little booster where you get extra rewards for playing that ship the first month that you own it. So that's what this is, but other temporary events will show up here. Underneath is the Dockyard missions that I was talking about, linked to that Dockyard. They're typically last like a month and a half to 2 months, and it goes week by week. So like week 1, you only have access to the first phase or the first group of missions, then the second week, the second. And realistically, to keep up with it, you need to complete all of these missions the week that they're assigned to you. Otherwise, it gets very difficult and easy to fall behind. And each week, these missions get harder and harder and harder and more grindy. So, the first like 3 or 4 weeks, you can really complete them without doing anything special typically, or even really paying attention to them. But starting like week 5, 6, and 7, you've got to put in some serious time into the game or have a really good game plan if you want to finish these missions. So, like I said, as a new player, I would not spend too much time on that. This Grand Voyage event here is a temporary event that's lasting through the end of the year. We'll talk about it briefly. There's the GQ Johnny event where if you play 5 battles a day, you earn 2 credits towards this GQ Johnny, which is a very good high-tier premium ship. If you're watching this now, I think you just barely have enough time that you could still get it if you played 5 battles almost every day until the end of the event. And then there's also this daily mission thing where for doing a single battle, it gives you these community tokens that can be traded in for either the premium credit, the doubloons, or the steel. So, if you're watching this in the next few months, definitely log in and play a match a day, and you can get some really valuable rewards. They've never given out rewards like that before. The rest of these things here are just not super important, so we'll kind of skip over them for now. But moving on to campaigns, this is kind of the, I guess, somewhat story missions the game has. We'll go ahead and take a look at this first one, Science for Victory. I would recommend that you start out with this one as a new player. It will kind of introduce you to campaigns. You can get some really good rewards, especially as a new player, for working on these. On the left side, you can see the missions that you have going. Pretty soon here, I think they're going to make it so that everyone has access to 3 missions at a time. Previously, you would only have access to 3 missions at a time if you had a premium account, but I think that's changing. So clicking into here, it gives you a list of tasks to do, and those tasks typically give you between like 1 and 3 stars for completing them. And if you earn enough stars that you can see at the top of the screen, then you unlock the final task. And for doing the final task, you not only get the reward for it shown here, but then it unlocks the next stage of the campaign. So you can kind of work your way through, earn a bunch of really good rewards. And yeah, as a new player, this is like a great way to get some very valuable things early in the game. One thing that I do want to touch on, which I'll click back here in a second, is that you can repeat some of these missions. And I really wish that they would have made that more clear, but they really don't. I'll go ahead and in a second here, I'll click through and show you some of the ones I'm working on. But if you're completed all the easy missions that you can do and you're kind of stuck, go ahead and click back into the missions here. And then if you hover over it and you can see that green check mark where it says can be completed again, if you have an open mission slot on the left side or an empty mission slot, you can click on that task and reassign it to yourself, and you can earn another star off of it. So if you're having trouble completing these missions, that is a good way to go ahead and get them done, is by repeating the task. So do not forget about that, because they really don't make that clear, and that is a huge way that you can complete some of these missions that would otherwise be nearly impossible to do without repeating tasks. So unfortunately, I just found out about that recently, and I've been playing the game for several years. But anyways, so that's kind of missions. You can, besides getting like good new person stuff, you can also unlock some premium ships and unique commanders and such. This next tab, containers here, is very important. This is what you want to come to every day. So as you play battles, you just earn experience, and each day it will fill up this bar here, and you can unlock up to 3 containers per day, depending on how much experience you earn and how many battles you do. And if you go ahead and you click on that golden chest once you unlock one, you get these 4 different options. As a new player, I 100% suggest that you only do these more coal containers, or even a veteran player. They unlock coal, which is a special resource that can be used to purchase coal ships, which are a form of premium ships, and the coal ships are among the best ships in the game. So I always suggest that you just collect all of these containers as coal containers. If you're like a very, very veteran player, way more veteran than me, and you have all of the coal ships, then good on you. You can select something else. But as you can see, we got some coal from that. We got a patch, which I already have, so I'll just get some credits refunded for that, and some little modifiers. So yeah. And on the top right, you can actually click a button if you have multiple containers to open them all at once. Moving on from there, the naval battles option below that we'll skip past. That's related to being in a clan. But we'll go ahead and go up to this news section next. Nothing too important here. If you watch YouTubers regularly, they tend to give you better updates on what's going on with the game than this update tab. But you can see on this tab, it shows you the current update and everything, the whole lot of things that are currently going on. So we'll get out of there. So that's kind of the basics of most of the port. We'll kind of, I think from there, we'll go through some of these other tabs here. Clicking on the tech tree next, this is another very important tab, especially early game. On the left side of the screen, you can see the different nations, and I think by default, as a new player, it gives you the first ship in each of these tech trees for free, the tier 1. When you're scrolling through them, they look like a tangled mess with just a ton of ships. And you'll kind of get used to working your way through these, but you'll start out with just that tier 1 ship at the top on whatever nation you end up deciding to play, and you can work your way down through the list. You do have a limited number of port slots, so we'll get into that at a future date, but as a new player, it won't matter too much, but once you start collecting some ships, it will. So anyways, I highly recommend that you either play through the Hashidate line of the Japanese or the American Erie line, and that you go to this kind of pentagon level thing. You work your way down the tree towards that with the 2 lines, and those are the battleships. And as a new player, you want to play either the Yamato or the Montana line, and you want to work your way towards those ships. Kind of playing a battleship in the game, either American or Japanese. Those are like the most general, basic ships in the game. They're not the best by any standards, but as a new player, they're the easiest to learn, and they'll kind of teach you the most about how to play the game. So we'll take a closer look at this once we actually start playing some more battles in future videos. But for now, if you're kind of playing ahead of this or already have surpassed this, that's my recommendation. Pick either USA or Japan and work your way towards either the Yamato or the Montana, because those will teach you the basics of the game without getting too crazy with weird ship effects and stuff. This exterior tab here, this shows you different just completely cosmetic functions of the ship, like these enemy explosion effects or flags or camouflages that you can put on your ship. These are the expendable ones, so skip those, sell them instead. Any permanent camouflages that you have for your ship, these permanent camouflages typically you unlock through just doing events. The equipment tab right here that we're clicking onto, as an early player, honestly ignore most of this. Don't get too caught up into this. That little gold triangle on the equipment there will tell you what's recommended for the ship, but honestly, as a new player, until you get to like tier 6, 7, you really don't need to purchase any of those. So we'll skip past that for now. This tab on the far right would be different for everyone, but it's the clan tab. We'll just very quickly look at this. If you're in a clan, it opens up to your clan base like this. This is mine, Old Sea Legends. Right now it's just me and one of my friends in this clan, but you can click through and see the clan members. You can look at clan missions, etc. And right here is the Find a Clan tab. Again, as a brand new player, you won't have this unlocked yet, but once you unlock it, I 100% recommend that you join a clan. I would click on this No Obligations tab to find a random clan, or if you've got a friend with a clan, join theirs, or if you want, you can join mine. It's called Old Sea Legends. But either way, being in a clan is extremely important because the clan gives you different benefits for playing the game. some examples of this. It makes buying ships cheaper. It gives you extra coal and extra steel to purchase coal and steel ships with. You earn experience and credits quicker, more captain experience, etc. So it is just a huge, huge resource for all players of any experience level. So definitely make sure that you're in a clan. Going back, that is most of the basic stuff of the port. We're going to skip over most of the stuff on the right for now until we actually start playing some matches. I will very briefly touch on captains here. Again, you have to unlock the ability to have captains, but if you click onto this, if you don't have one on a ship, normally it will say assign a captain. You can scroll through and pick a captain. Again, we'll talk about this in better detail in a future video, but yeah. So, and then the rest of this area here on the right side, don't really pay attention to it for now. Again, as a new player, just focus on playing the game, kind of learning what it feels like to drive the ship and stuff. We will worry about looking at individual ship stats in the future. Going to the Armory, finally though, it will open up to this first page that will look very different if you're watching this even a few weeks down the road. This first page is like the temporary events page or the news page. It just shows you all this different stuff that's going on. On the bottom right side of this page, you can see this daily ritual. Sometimes that's available, sometimes it's not. If you click onto it though, and it is available, it will give you a free little goodie for a little bit of time once a day. So definitely get that for free if it's there. Moving on to the next tab down, the ships. This is where you can purchase ships for doubloons or coal or steel. We'll look at the doubloons first. So that's those gold premium credits that I was talking about earlier that you want to save up. If you really, really want to, go and purchase a ship, this is where you do it. I'm not going to touch on these too much because the premium shop rotates every couple of months or every couple of updates. So if you're watching this down the road, it will probably be a very different selection of ships, but this is where you can purchase ships if you want to. Steel is a premium resource that you earn either through very, very little amounts through the event pass every month or by playing ranked and clan battles. I play quite a bit of ranked, which is how I've managed to get a few steel ships, not many though. Working my way towards a fourth, but this is a resource that even very experienced players who don't play ranked or clan battles may not have any steel ships or only one. Coal is the free resource for everyone, which is why I was mentioning that you should get those coal containers. There are a ton of ships to pick from, and these are among the best ships in the game that you can get totally for free just by playing the game and building up more coal. So I'm not going to talk about these today. I would do a separate video if you guys want to hear more, but this is where you can purchase coal ships. For now, just save up your coal until you get quite a bit. Then once you're interested in getting a ship, maybe start looking around for some current YouTube videos at the time on what the best coal ships are. Moving on to commanders here. This is where you can purchase ship commanders once you unlock it. These top ones are like unique or premium commanders. There's one for each nation. Some are way better than others. You have to buy them for coal. As a new player, I don't recommend that you invest in these. Most people say that you should kind of get several ships from a country before you get the premium commander, and I would agree with that. You don't get a whole lot of use out of the premium commander unless you have like a few different ships from that country to use them on. So if you're like a newer player or even kind of a middle time player, I would focus on spending your coal on coal ships first before you start purchasing these. But anyways, moving on, this containers tab is really not important. It's kind of a waste of money other than this far right section here. You can buy these containers for coal. Again, as a new player, I'd mostly ignore this, but there are a few premium ships and even some of those unique commanders that you can only get by opening up some of these containers. So kind of look into those once you've been playing the game for a while. Just keep that in the back of your mind. This customizations tab, again, as a new player, is not going to be super duper important to you. This is where you can buy some like very, very good upgrades for ships. It really doesn't make a difference until you get to like tier 8, 9, and 10 ships. So like I said, just kind of keep this in the back of your mind, but you don't really need to invest too much time on this tab. The naval community, kind of how I was talking about with the invite code, or for attending certain community events, you'll earn slowly these community tokens. And besides getting these really cool camouflages at the bottom, there's not a whole lot else that you can use them for. Honestly, other than the camouflages, I'd recommend that you either get one of those for a ship that you have, or that you save up your community tokens until you can afford one of these premium ship containers that are pretty expensive. So they would take quite a while. But like I said, if you use one of those invite codes, you and the person that invited you earn community tokens just for you guys playing the game. So this is the Research Bureau. This is where very, very experienced players that have been playing the game for quite a while are able to get some very awesome upgrades for ships, or some very unique playstyle ships. This is not too important, though, as a new player. This next rest of the tabs, for the most part, are temporary events that are going on. So these will disappear here pretty quickly. This is where you can spend as much money as you want, if you want, on temporary events. I will touch on this Grand Voyage tab, though, since this is relevant through the end of the year. If you're playing and you're earning those community tokens through the end of 2025, this is where you can exchange them. As you can see, I've got 450 that I haven't exchanged yet. You have to exchange 100 at a time, and you can trade them either for doubloons or steel. As a new player, I very, very much recommend that you spend those community tokens on doubloons, just because that's going to give you the most variety in the game. This bottom tab here is where you can spend real money to purchase doubloons. Again, those doubloons can be used for almost anything in the game, purchasing premium ships, loot containers, making things go faster, etc. And at the bottom here is premium time. If you're going to spend money on the game, this is the number one way that you can invest your money in the game. Without this, it makes earning credits and experience very, very slow. But premium time makes it so that you pretty much always earn a profit from every battle that you fight. And it just greatly accelerates your time in the game and makes it a much better experience. So if you're going to spend any money on the game, I recommend that you do this and get this premium time. It's pretty expensive. It's roughly $100 for a 1 year worth of premium time. However, around New Year's, they offer for like a week or two, you can get a 1 year subscription of premium time for half off, so roughly $50. If you can wait until then, I would recommend it. But if you're going to spend any money on the game, this is where you should spend it. If you're going to spend any money after this, the second place that you should look at spending it is those event passes that I showed you earlier. After all of that, if you still want to spend money on the game, then look out for short-term events and stuff like that. But yeah, this little filter thing over here, you can kind of filter through your ships, which is useful once you start getting a lot. But what I want to show you here is that little green check mark that I have, compact carousel. By default, yours is going to be checked off, and it will show you like kind of one ship at a time, these bigger, more pretty looking pictures. That's really cool. It works for a while, but once you start getting a pretty big port, you want to click here, go to compact carousel view, and you can get it 2 deep or 3 deep or even 4 deep, depending on your monitor size and stuff. So that is a good way to just kind of stay a little better organized. But I think that's pretty much going to do it. That's the basics of the port. This is like episode 0. Hopefully this showed you guys kind of how to navigate the port. Starting next episode, we'll kind of talk about getting into some battles and stuff like that. But we're just going to kind of take things slow in this new player guide and kind of show you all the ropes of the game and make you into a good player. So hope you enjoyed. Hope this helped. If so, leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next episode.